Yeah, so each one of us walks around with questions. And those questions aren't always very loud. These questions aren't even always in words, but they are just there quietly. And they can lay there like a soft pain behind our daily life. This can give rise to questions like, what am I truly doing here? And isn't there more to this life than this like daily life that I'm leading? And why do I feel this insatiable longing within me, like deep inside of me? Sometimes these questions are very clearly defined in us, while in other moments they present as a restlessness, as a sense of something that is unbelonging. It is like maybe something that is unfinished, something that is not in its right perspective. And then, while we experience that, it can also suddenly happen that something stirs in us, that we are suddenly met with a stillness that we really did not expect. It can happen that we feel a lightness and a relief in our chest, and that we notice a simple, quiet presence that cannot be explained by our outer circumstances. But there is something in us that got stirred. And then not because of anything that happened on the outside, but because of a hidden call that has arisen from within. When we meet this part of ourselves, then it is as if a long forgotten part in us is beginning to awaken. And this is exactly where the Rosicrucian path begins. We may have read many books, maybe we have done different courses, maybe we have tried to improve our thoughts or our actions or our feelings by analyzing them, by trying to understand them. But what we really mean about the beginning of the path is not that. The beginning of the path is something entirely different. And this is because our spiritual path is namely not linear. It's not like a linear path. It's not a straight line that we go with effort and with a lot of ambition. It's not a path where we achieve something by getting a rank, or it is not a path where we achieve anything really. The Rosicrucian path is namely not about becoming more. It's not about getting ahead of everybody else. The Rosicrucian path is instead about remembering something that always has been there. It is a sense of a steady, unchanging, solid ground beneath all changes that we have been through during our whole life, probably. It is like there is a common sense behind everything that remains despite all madness. And we start to begin to see in some kind of way through our experiences. And by this, our attention starts to shift. Then it goes from what can I gain from life, which is often the eternal question, to what is the quality that I keep alive in my center, which is a completely different question. So what do we keep alive? Is that the restless fire of my selfish impulses, or is it the steady flame of love that I feel within myself? A flame that seeks peace, a flame that has forgiveness, that lets go, a flame that loves without any conditioning. We probably know both of these fires. And in the tension field between these two poles, between like knowing and not doing, there lies a restlessness. And this restlessness is not wrong. This restlessness is the sign of hearing the morning call of awakening. And this is the divine call that the Rosicrucians spoke of. Rosicrucianism in its deeper layers can only be understood through what we call Gnosis. And Gnosis is the Greek word for knowing. But then we don't talk about knowing in the sense of new opinions or new facts. It is not a knowing that has to do with debating something or explaining something. Gnosis is a recognition. It is a seeing from the perspective of our own essence. Gnosis is the seeing that cuts through all appearances and roles. It breaks through the stories that we tell ourselves and others. It dismantles layers of fear and self-deception. And it does this until only love and truth that belong to the soul remain. And even while our mind cannot explain it, cannot comprehend it, our heart just knows it, just recognizes it. And when this knowing arises in us, our life is beginning to change. What previously seemed so solid can suddenly become transparent. Things that felt so incredibly urgent before can lose their weight. And everything that held us captive before lets us go. All because something deeper in us is calling. And that is the call of the Gnosis. It's the call of the spirit spark. It is like the fragrance of the rose. And dear friends, this call is not new. This call has echoed through all ages. It has sounded in many temples, in many scriptures. It has been found in many words and symbols, but above all, in many hearts like ours. This throughout all times, all ages. Because our heart also has been called by the inner light. It is called by the spirit spark, the mustard seed, the rose of the heart. And there are many names for this call and for this essence, but there is only one reality to them. There is a seed that is planted in everybody's heart. A seed that is not from this world, but it is waiting within the chaos of this world, where it is longing for the space to unfold. The school of the Golden Rosycross exists to create a space that supports this awakening. And then we don't talk about a new dogma. We don't say that we create a new space with a new belief system. It is by our focus on creating a space together in which we can blossom together in the same light. This may sound lofty, but it is a Rosicrucian reality. At the center of our tradition stands the symbol of the rose and the cross. The cross represents life on earth with its joys and sorrows and its endless lessons and limits, while in the center of the cross, there is the rose, closed as a bud at first, but filled with a promise. The divine principle within the bud creates a tension or a pressure to awaken. And when it does, when the rose slowly opens and steadily comes to a fuller and fuller bloom, it does not only transform our soul, our consciousness, but also everything around us. This path is not always easy. It asks for impossible surrenders. It asks us to let go of what is false in us so that the true light receives the space to live within us. So this is not a path of escape. It is a path of seeing with new eyes. It's a path where we learn to listen with honesty. It is a path of following, the following of truth and conscience of the heart that brings a new consciousness. And when we discover this silent center within ourselves, then our vision opens and we see that the spark that shines within us also shines in every other human being. We have friends, families, and enemies to love. Because behind all differences, there is only one light. There's only one source that flows into all life, calling it to harmonize. And this point is what the Rosicrucians reveal. It is a meeting point where heaven and earth touch, where the eternal meets the temporal, where the spirit can reach the heart of our matter. And this is a possibility. And it is not a possibility that is far away. It is a possibility that we have here and now, all the time. In this moment, in this meeting, in our heart, synchronized by the same light, we maybe sense something of this. And as we begin our journey of orientations together, let us bring all our questions, our longings, and also our humanity just as it is, completely unfiltered, unmasked, and safe. Because there is nothing to prove and there's nothing to defend. There is only the invitation that we all get to say yes to what is most true within ourselves, so that the rosebud can come to a bloom on the cross of our existence.